Clark, New Jersey. This is well, it's a ramp, overpass even, a ramp as well. It's exit off a parkway, overpass, of the parkway. It just so happens a couple months ago, actually, close to a year ago, I got a ticket for running red light going to the second one actually. It's relevant, that's like the point of this video I'm recording. I mean, it's 2025. Decades ago, and it has nothing to do with my age. Even a couple years ago, say 5 years ago, I never thought I'd be in this place in life. And it's about being awakening. I don't know if it is the term spiritual awakening, any kind of mental awakening, as far as awareness of the environment, the world, people around you, my relatives, my close ones, how they really are. And if you told me 5 years ago my parents were dysfunctional, or I was a part of a dysfunctional family, I probably would have been like, oh, it's probably me, right? Just like, it's like, wow. And I can't look down on myself for that, because I understand where that came from. But this Clark, New Jersey, and this takes me to like Westfield, New Jersey, Highway 22, US 22 it's called. So even early 2000s, it was summer, go to winter, I would drive up here to have, and I thought I was just, I don't want to make this like a sad video. I thought I was happy, but I knew I wasn't. I was trying to make the best of anything. And it just wasn't working. Alone, people that I had in my life, just they weren't pleasant. It's not that they were like you could say immature, incorrect, inappropriate jokes. They were very cruel, and to the point where it's like, and I already talked about it in my last video, they wouldn't want me to like prosper or thrive a lot of times. They were like either envious a lot of times, really what it was. And it didn't have anything to do with my cousin's Luke life, although it did, because everything influences everything, But even if you take him out of the equation, how people treated him or mistreated me, it was just, I didn't really see a future. I never really have. In like what, not counting the last 4 years, but the other years, if you had told me, why don't you just, get your apartment and move out while you live with your parents, I'd be like, well, this is, I could tell you right now, right now, I'd be like, yeah, definitely, right? It's no question, years ago, I didn't see the future, and I just couldn't take care of myself. I never had financial stability, and also it was much more than that, actually. Right now I don't have financial stability, but it's like, on a whim, I'd be like, I'm going to Canada. I got a couple jobs for a train ticket. I'll get a job, I'll be fine. It's really what it is. It was just like I was mentally suppressed, like I said, and I had repression issues, memory disorder. I went 2 years of alcoholism. I'm not gonna talk about Serenity and how she helped me. It was constant laughter with her. I went to sleep yesterday. I didn't record anything. I didn't write anything down, but I really miss her. I was like, I was experiencing memories of like, she would just cuddle on the blanket with me. It was too warm underneath the blanket. I would move around a little. Maybe it was flatulence, but not really. She just, she didn't want to be too warm. So I miss her so much. I watched the video earlier today, and it's like another thing. I had a cell phone, an iPhone, and I really recorded a lot of videos actually, especially speaking. I didn't have a YouTube channel per se of uploading. I had a YouTube channel, I think one, and I would just watch videos, so log in, sign in, whatever you call it, and just watch videos or anything else, So I'm much more opened up, and I'm much opened up to who I am inside and what I can be. And I'm not any close as far as having a special skill set, but I try and everything I get my hands on. I wasn't like that years ago. I was much more insecure, and I had my insecurities like fear and worries. Riding a bike to let's say hurricane. I thought it was a thunderstorm. It scares you when you're out in not middle of nowhere, but it's like everything's closed. And you're like, there's an open field, and you're like, could this be it? Then you start thinking, what if, you start thinking things you probably shouldn't be thinking about. You start thinking, what did the psychic tell me years ago? And it's like, that's not what you should be thinking about. But then it's, other people actually mentally telling you, no, you'll be fine, this, and giving you advice. Quantum communication, like people call it. I call it telepathy. But yeah, if it was decades ago, I probably wouldn't have thought it was telepathy, or maybe once in a while. but I would have thought something else about myself that, well, I'll just say it isn't entirely true, you know? And that actually brought me to a low point in majority of my life, to the point where I couldn't relinquish something in my mind, and I had repression issues, you know? So that's a very big part. I alleviated something from my life, and not too fully aware of that. I just know I'm a moral person. You know, I'm not the one to, like, you know, sell my soul. And I thought my relatives were good people majority of my life. You know, even though they mistreated me, I thought they had some kind of reason. I did something that's not really true. You know, they're just really horrible. Not even awful. I mean, yeah, like you know, like I said, we don't talk. None of them. You know, the ones that do, I should have. You know, there's a video on YouTube. I should have handled with well, just a little bit more freeness, or a bit more, not maturity actually. Told him, you know, why are you even talking to me like nothing happened, this and that thing. Instead, I was drinking that day. That's an excuse, and I just like, let me make fun of them. Let me just ridicule them, you know, like, let me try to use my sense of humor. And doesn't make me look any better, you know, but I wanted to insult them. I really did. But yeah, that's, and if I would have known that years ago, like, you know, not that I would be in a better place, but, you know, I wouldn't be that aware, and I wouldn't even stand up for myself. Or a lot of time and they would just suppress me in some kind of words or anything like that, and I would just either believe him, or, you know, it's a psychological warfare or game, like people say, that people play like that, where they're sociopathic and psychopathic. So, you know, I'm very much more aware of people's words, and you know, it's like a little voice there. I don't treat life like, you know, I have to do this. You know, I don't say worship. I don't put myself down in front of anybody else. I treat people with respect. I always have. But right now I'm more open, and I catch people, and it's like I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna get attached to someone or anybody or anything, any idea, philosophy, or anything, if it's you know, not beneficial, not logical, and it's gonna hurt me, including somebody else in the process, you know? So I'm much more independent and much more aware, and stronger a lot of times. Mentally, psychologically, way stronger. Yeah, but, yeah, let me see. That's pretty much it. I'm going to, the town is Westfield, New Jersey, and it's my first day as a dishwasher. Also, another thing, I looked for dishwasher jobs in the past, but, you know, I would have been much more frightened, scared. I never fully, like, you know, spent days actually dishwashing and try to perfect the skill. Not since I was like a teenager or preteen, and not too many times after that, you know. So yeah, I'm much more, you know, I try to do, you know, sustainability is another thing I partake in, you know. Sustainability, as far as I try to do myself, try to like figure things out, you know. I'm much more, you know, that's as far as opening as well. But yeah, this road I had, memories, you know, that'll trickle back like early 2000s. They do. You know, I used to drive errands every week, and every week I bought a CD at Best Buy. There was a girl I was attracted to there, but it wasn't like, I never fully, I think I tried to actually, you know, as far as, you know, get her number, get to know her, but it didn't go very well. And it wasn't even that. It was just, you know, buy music and listen to music, driving with a car with CD player, and I'm working in Mount Olivet Cemetery. You know, and yeah, that's, you know, if anybody watches my YouTube videos, that was quite an experience. It was, you know, that's when I had my first and only suicide attempt, working at that job, actually, you know. So, I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of messed up, cruel-bound people out there, you know. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's my first day. I called in. I guess one individual didn't work out. You know, I got a text message, the restaurant open, and the individual, you know, that I talked to, we spoke briefly. He said, just come in, because he didn't say it didn't work out, but the sooner the better, you know. It's a Saturday, and I think there's another dishwasher. On Sunday, there's usually one, as I remember, and me and the other guy the person will alternate. And yeah, that's it. I'll explain anything later if I upload, if I'll talk about, you know, my job experience like I do. Or maybe I'll just stick with my pencil and a pad.